Hi folks, HR Funk here. Back out on the range with the Extar EP9 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Now this is a braced pistol, and this is also the second video I produced featuring the EP9. If you missed the first video, I would strongly suggest going back and watching it, because the EP9 has some rather unique characteristics that are a little different than the firearms I typically feature here on the channel. And if you don't have all the information from part one, you're probably not going to get as much out of this part. In any case, what I'm about to do is finish up some testing that I was not able to do in the first video. If you saw that video, you know that I was in a little bit of a time crunch, and I just had enough time to get out and do a little bit of shooting on some defensive drills with the EP9, but I wanted to do some further testing with it. I want to get some velocity data from it, and I also want to take a look at its accuracy with different types of ammunition. Now the EP9 does have a 6.5-inch barrel, so it's a little bit longer than we typically see with a 9mm pistol. So I'm interested to see what the velocity is going to look like, and as I said, I also want to look at the accuracy. Now I did make one change since the first video. I have a different optic mounted to the EP9 that I had the first time around. The reason being, I'm also testing this optic. This is going to be something coming up in the near future. It hasn't been released yet, but within about the next 2 weeks or so, I'm going to have a review video on this as well. In any case, I'm going to get things set up. I'm at a distance of 25 yards here, and we're going to take a look at this extended performance of the EP9. So here we go. And I'm set up and ready to go. I'm going to be firing 5-shot groups from this distance of 25 yards. I am going to be enlisting the aid of my Ransom International multi-caliber steady rest to try to make sure I fire the most accurate shots that I can. I'm also going to be using the Garmin chronograph to try to get velocity information. I'm going to fire a shot. I'll take a look at the velocity. I'll let all of you know what the velocity was. Then I'll fire the next shot. First up, out of my 4 different types of ammunition that I have, is going to be Hot Munitions 124 grain full metal jacket ammo. Let's see how they do. Shot number 1, 1,048, let's call it 1,049. It's 1048.9 feet per second. So 1049 for shot number 1. Shot number 2, 1,075 feet per second. Shot number 3, 1,088 feet per second. Shot number 4, 1,071 feet per second. And the 5th and final shot is 1,071 feet per second. Let's go take a look at the group. 4 out of the 5 shots with that Hot Munitions 124 grain full metal jacket load went into 1 3/4 inches, so not bad at all from that distance of 25 yards. This final shot down here opens it up to 2.5 inches center to center. This could have been my fault. I didn't see any shots that obviously looked bad. Maybe there was something about this round of ammunition that wasn't quite the same as the others. As you can see, it is nicely centered in the target as far as these 4 shots are concerned. The average velocity from that 6.5-inch barrel with this ammunition was 1,071 feet per second, so decent velocity. And the average kinetic energy was just shy of 316 foot-pounds. So we're getting good energy, good velocity, and certainly decent accuracy. I just wish this shot had been up here with the rest. Now let's try a different ammunition. Now this one ought to be interesting. What I have here is some Corbon ammunition. This is a 124 grain jacketed hollow point, and it's rated by the manufacturer as having a velocity of 1,250 feet per second. I have no idea how long the test barrel was that was used to obtain that velocity, but I suspect it was shorter than 6.5 inches. So this should be fun. Let's see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get with this Corbon load. Shot number 1, 1,272.5, so I'll round it up to 1,273. Shot number 2, 1,318 feet per second, 1318. Shot number 3, also 1318. And it's not a double reading because the first one was 1318.2 or something like that. This is 1318.3. $13.11. And 13:15. By the way, if you wonder why I'm taking so much time between shots, I'm working on my trigger control. If you saw part 1, you already know this is a GI AR style trigger component that's inside of the EP9, so I just have to take my time and make sure I'm squeezing off really good shots. Let's go down range and take a look at this group. Look at that group from that Corbon ammo, folks. All 5 of those shots are in about 1 1/8 inches center to center from that distance of 25 yards. That's very impressive. The average velocity that time around was 1,307 feet per second, which translates to a muzzle energy of 470 foot-pounds. This is a serious load right here. That would be a great defensive load, and obviously the EP9 likes it a lot. On we go to another load that I'm really looking forward to testing. This is a Winchester 9mm NATO load, so 124 grain full metal jacket. These are typically loaded to at least plus P pressures. We should get good velocity out of the 6.5 inch barrel of the EP9. Let's see how things go. Shot number 1, 1,279 feet per second. Shot number 2, 1,282 feet per second. Shot number 3, 1,267, 1,267 feet per second. Shot number 4, 1,279 feet per second. Wow, this stuff is consistent as can be. And shot number 5, 1,255 feet per second. Let's go take a look at the group. I was stringing those shots with the 124 grain NATO load a little bit horizontally, but the group isn't really all that bad. Center to center, it measures about 2.5 inches, no matter which direction I measure it. The average velocity that time around was 1,272 feet per second, and the muzzle energy was 446 foot-pounds. So again, good load, getting good performance out of that 6.5 inch barrel. Now let's go back and try the last load. This is the heavyweight bullet out of today's lineup. This is a Nosler 147 grain jacketed hollow point. These typically have a velocity out of an average handgun barrel between 950 and about 1,000 feet per second, so I'm curious to see what we're going to get from the 6.5 inch barrel of the EP9. Also, this is a match grade load, so the accuracy is going to be fun to watch as well. Let's see what happens. Number 1, 924 feet per second. Right about what I'd expect out of a 4-inch handgun barrel. Shot number 2, 953 feet per second. Shot number 3, 941 feet per second. Shot number 4, 982 feet per second. And here we go with the final shot. Shot number 5, 933 feet per second. Let's go look at the group. I got downrange and realized, of course, my target camera had overheated and died, so I have no idea how many of these shots you actually saw while I was firing them, but this is the final 5-shot group, and it measures just shy of 1.5 inches center to center. There was a definite shift in the point of impact with those heavier, slower bullets, but the accuracy overall was very, very good. The average velocity with that load was 947 feet per second, which translates to a muzzle energy of 247 feet per second, which, by the way, is why I really don't care for 147 grain 9mm loads for defensive use, because they tend to be very slow and they lack the energy that the lighter bullets have because of that low velocity. Now, conversely, they usually tend to be very, very accurate. So if you're looking for really accurate 9mm ammunition, a lot of times you'll get the best accuracy with those 147 grain bullets. Anyway, let's have some final thoughts on this video. So, final thoughts for this second video on the Extar EP9. I've got several. First off, this thing has been extremely reliable. I have used it with now several different types of ammunition, at least 5 different kinds. I've fed hollow points through it, I've fed full metal jacket through it, I've fed low pressure ammunition, I've fed high pressure ammunition, and everything has cycled perfectly. I don't have a tremendous number of rounds through the EP9 yet. At this juncture, it's probably around 100, give or take. So it's not been an extensive live fire test, but certainly to this point, it has functioned 100%, and I haven't done a thing to it. I took it out of the box and started shooting it. I haven't cleaned it. I haven't lubed it. As I said in part 1 of this video, the instruction manual says you don't have to lube this firearm, so I am testing that. And so far, the functioning, as I said, has been perfect. Also, as you saw during the course of the accuracy testing, the accuracy has been very, very good. Now, I've always found the accuracy for straight blowback firearms to be pretty good. It just seems like the less things there are moving around inside the action, the more accurate the firearm tends to be. And the EP9 is certainly no exception from that. Beyond that, all the things that I said in the first video, the lightweight characteristics of this firearm, and with this lighter optic, I notice it being even quicker handling. The optic that I had on here before, when I weighed it, I weighed it when I took it off, and it weighed about 6 ounces. I was guessing it was about ½ pound, and I wasn't too far off. This optic weighs about 1 ounce, maybe 1.5 with the mount that I have on here. So it is noticeably lighter. The weight is sub 4 pounds. So it's a very light, very fast handling, very easy to use firearm. It is familiar, as I said, to anyone who has used an AR-15 platform. So all the things I said the first time around hold true. This time the functioning continues to be perfect, and as you saw, the accuracy and velocity numbers for this 6.5-inch barrel were also very good. So I continue to say the EP9 is performing very, very well. Now, the only thing I can't really speak to is its durability, but through the course of testing this optic, the firearm is going to go through some of the same conditions. It's going to go through the extreme cold weather test. It's going to go through the submersion test, or at least a portion of it will be submerged. It's going to go through the drop testing. So we're going to be testing the durability of the EP9 along with this optic, and we'll find out how they both do. In any case, that's it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Remember, stop by my website, hrfunk.com, to check out all the news and information going on with me and the channel, and go by the products page, because a lot of the products I've reviewed have links on that page, and there's information beneath some of those links that'll save you some money if you decide to make a purchase. See you next time, folks. And until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.